It was one of those nights I should have seen coming. The kind of night that, looking back, was filled with red flags I ignored. Mia, my fiancée, was always a bit superficial, always concerned with appearances, with what other people thought. But that night, in front of her friends, she crossed a line I never thought she would. We were at Jessica's dinner party, the kind of upper-middle-class get-together that had become routine for Mia's circle. Everyone there had an agenda. Everyone was trying to outshine each other. Who had the best job, who had the most exotic vacation plans, who had the most interesting stories. People casually dropped the names of the expensive restaurants they frequented, their vacation spots, and the promotions they'd just gotten. I never really enjoyed these gatherings, but Mia loved them, and I wanted to make her happy. Or, at least, I thought I did. At first, everything seemed normal. We greeted everyone, grabbed a drink, and started talking. Mia was the life of the party, engaging everyone with her quick wit and her usual charm. But somewhere between the second bottle of wine and Jessica's long-winded rant about her disastrous trip to Dubai, it happened. Someone turned to Mia and asked the question I always dreaded. "So, what does Michael do again?" I didn't even look up. It was a question I'd heard countless times, and Mia had a well-rehearsed response for it. She always said something vague but harmless. "Oh, Michael works in finance," or "he's in a corporate job." It wasn't glamorous, but at least acknowledged that I had a solid career. But not that night. She smirked, swirling her glass, and let out a small, almost condescending laugh. "Oh, Michael? He just spends his days pushing papers in some tiny little cubicle. It's not exactly exciting." The room erupted into laughter. I could feel the sting, the sharpness of her words, but I tried to keep my composure. I'd been humiliated before, but there was something different about the way she said it this time. The smirk, the tone in her voice, the way her friends fed off her joke. It was as if she was mocking me in my face, and they were all enjoying it. Jessica, of course, had to chime in. "Wait, so he's like a corporate secretary?" Mia laughed harder, clearly pleased with herself. "Exactly. He spends all day typing away on spreadsheets while the real power players make the big moves." I could feel my stomach tightening, not because of the words themselves, but because of the realization that this wasn't an isolated incident. This wasn't just a poor joke or a slip of the tongue. This was a revelation, a mask slipping. Mia didn't respect me, not as a man, not as a partner, and certainly not as someone worth standing beside. But I didn't leave. I didn't call her out. Instead, I smiled and laughed along, let her believe she had won. Let her think her words had rolled off me like water off a duck's back. I wanted her to think I was weak, because people like Mia, people who treated others like disposable options, only learned the hard way. And I was going to teach her the most painful lesson of her life. The night went on as if nothing had happened, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being exposed. Later, when we were alone, Mia tried to act like everything was fine. She asked about my day. She kissed me on the cheek, but I could tell there was something different about her. She was smug, like she had somehow won. I knew right then that I was done. It wasn't an immediate decision. It wasn't as if I had planned to leave her right away, but something had changed. In that moment, I knew I wasn't the man she loved. I was the man she settled for, the one she thought she could control and manipulate. She hadn't even realized she was playing a game, but I had already decided I wasn't going to be her pawn anymore. The days that followed felt strange, like I was living in two worlds at once. I still kept up the act, still played the part of the dutiful fiancé, but inside, I was already planning my exit. I didn't confront Mia. I didn't yell or argue. Instead, I played along, pretending everything was fine. But I had already made up my mind. I was leaving, but on my terms, not hers. I began to distance myself. I stopped making future plans. We used to talk about vacations, about our future home, about our wedding. But now, I stopped bringing it up. I stopped making the small gestures, the ones that showed I was invested in our future together. Mia didn't notice at first. She was too busy with her own life, too busy with her friends and her job. But it didn't matter. I knew I was already gone, and soon she would realize it too. The truth was, I had been waiting for the right moment, and that moment came sooner than I expected. A few months after that humiliating dinner party, I got the promotion, the one that would change everything. I had known it was coming for months. My company had been undergoing a massive restructuring, and I had been working closely with upper management. I had done everything right, and my hard work had paid off. I had just been offered a high-ranking corporate role with a massive salary increase. I didn't tell Mia. I didn't celebrate. I didn't let her in on the secret. Instead, I kept it to myself, knowing that as soon as she found out, she'd latch onto me even harder. She'd start pretending to respect me again. She'd start acting like she cared. But I wasn't going to let her off that easily. She needed to understand that I wasn't the man she thought I was. I wasn't just a boring little cubicle guy. I was so much more than that. And I wasn't going to let her take me for granted any longer. Mia had no idea what was coming. I let her dig herself into a deeper hole, made her believe that she was still in control. Meanwhile, I quietly removed her from my life. I stopped contributing to our shared finances. I canceled the subscriptions we had together, Netflix, Spotify, everything. I stopped paying for things like rent and utilities. I stopped asking her about her day, about her plans. I became emotionally distant, just enough so she'd start to feel uneasy without realizing why. She didn't see it coming. She thought she still had time to play her little game, to pretend that everything was fine, that she could keep juggling her options. But I was already making my move. A few weeks after I got the promotion, I started making even more subtle changes. I stopped planning future vacations. I stopped talking about engagements and our wedding. Every time she brought it up, I found a way to avoid the topic. I made sure she didn't think I was going anywhere. I wanted her to think that she still had control, that I was still her safe bet, her backup plan. And when I left, it would hurt her so much more. Then, one morning, Mia woke up to the first sign that something was wrong. It started small. Her Uber app wouldn't work. She tried to order a ride to work, but when she confirmed the payment, the screen flashed payment declined. She tried again. Same thing. Annoyed, she switched to her personal card and moved on. It didn't seem like a big deal, but it was the first crack in facade. She went about her day, thinking nothing of it. But that evening, when she tried to send me a text, I didn't reply. I had stopped replying to her messages entirely, knowing that the more I pulled away, the more desperate she would become. And she did. She started texting more frequently. She tried calling me, but I didn't pick up. By the time she showed up at my office, she had no idea that I had already made my exit. When Mia walked into my office building, she still didn't know. She didn't suspect anything. She walked past a receptionist with the same confidence she always had. But when she reached my department, her step faltered. My desk was gone. Not just abandoned, not messy, completely cleared out. My computer, my chair, everything was gone. In my place was some new guy, typing away at my desk. Mia froze. Panic washed over her as she looked around, confused. She spotted one of my old co-workers, Kevin, and asked, "Where's Michael?" Kevin looked up, surprised. "Oh, he left last week. Got promoted. Big role. He's already in the new office across the country." Gone. Without a word. Without a single explanation. Mia couldn't process it. She asked Kevin if it made sense, but he shrugged. He seemed pretty busy with the new job. Maybe he just didn't get a chance to tell you. That was it. It was over. Mia's heart pounded in her chest. She whipped out her phone and started texting me, but I didn't respond. Her hands shook. She tried calling. Straight to voicemail. And just like that, Mia realized what she had never even considered. The safety net was gone. I was gone. And this time, there would be no coming back. The next few days were a whirlwind for Mia. She spiraled. She tried to reach out to me, texting, calling, but I didn't respond. It wasn't that I didn't want to. It was that I didn't need to. Mia had made her bed. Now, she was the one left to lie in it. Her friends distanced themselves from her. The man she had been flirting with, Liam, moved on. Her career was a facade. And in the end, she realized that the life she had built, the one she thought was secure, had crumbled beneath her feet. And me? I was already gone.